Radical, so it's over, the incredible Dillon Jones era. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting the same results. This coach has been here for 20-something years. This is Randy Rayism, the death of Weber State basketball. When did that happen? This century is a disaster. Big Sky basketball is a disaster. This whole tournament situation, the way they have it structured, is a disaster. So you're going to get probably you might even get a number 10 seed going there that's had, what, 10, 11, 12 wins the entire season, and they'll get a 16. Guaranteed they're a 16 seed now. They ain't getting a 15. And so it goes on and on and on. The Big Sky basketball gets blown out. I mean, these tournament games are laughable because of the teams that go in. The best teams don't win this tournament. Weber State have the most talent. They have the most talent every freaking year. That don't mean you win. That's why I didn't go to Boise. Everybody's waiting. I'm like, you're in Lallaville, you think you're going to win this tournament. I've been here the whole time. I've watched this team. I've watched this team, you know, so much talent, so good, and then just lay eggs, go on these droughts from hell. You got a coach that doesn't know how to pitch the perimeter. This coach is Randy Rayism. It's Randy Ray freaking all over again. I knew that when I hired him. I'm like, where's the committee? Whatever. And I still say, we want a Weber State guy. What's this fascination with the Midwest when we have these legendary players and legendary coaches from here? The Bakeland was from here. Phil Johnson, right up the road. You know, Dick Mata, right up the road on the northern Utah, southern Idaho line. You know, it goes clear back to, I will quote the great Harold Arsenault of the show, the truly great players in the history of this school. We went in right here this year at halftime. By the way, Paul Thompson's standing there with him. I was with Paul Thompson in Seattle. I had breakfast with him that morning, the day he fired at Bakeland. I'm like, Harold Arsenault of the show, it's been 25 years. We went up to Seattle and we beat North Carolina and we sent shockwaves through them. We had Florida beat, you know, Weber State. We went in there and shocked the freaking world and showed them that this school can win. Waiting for the next team to go into the NCAA tournament and knock them over and show them who we are. Still waiting is last thing. Still waiting. So Dillon Jones never played in the NCAA tournament. Neither did Damian Lillard. Neither did Jarek Harding. I remember Harding's freshman year, that game, the championship game, when they're ahead by 7. And getting a home game just like they are in Salt Lake. They would have played Salt Lake, they won this tournament. North Dakota ahead by 7 with no time to go, and they lose. It's been heartbreak, 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 heartbreak here. But you can't win a tournament game if you don't go to the fucking tournament. This team's always been an underachiever under Randy Rayism, Eric Duffism. And I like Eric, but as a coach, the dynamics. Look, this Montana State team went crazy from the arc. They scored 66 points in the second half. Weaver was up by, what, 13. Dillon Jones going to the rack. Boom. Dillon Jones to the rack. Boom. You know, to start the second half, they're up by 13. They quit going to Dillon Jones to the rack. This coach has no dynamics during games, never did. So you got a hot team shooting from the perimeter, you just push the arc. Perimeter defense time. This team has no perimeter defense. They've never coached it here. You know, even if you got to guard 2 feet beyond the arc, you stop that arc. That's not that long shot. This team was on fire. You could see it. All you do is just push the perimeter defense. Let them score 2s. When they're knocking down 3s like this, you ain't beating nobody. And then it was in transaction because Weber gets so cold. They go on these ice-cold freaking runs, and then teams just goes, wow. They've done it all season. I've watched it all season. Same old, same old. Dillon Jones. I knew they was in trouble when Gordon Monson wrote an article about Dillon Jones. He hasn't been here for 4 years, not one time. Dillon's been here for 4 years. These Johnny-come-latelys are calling me on the phone. Can you get tickets? We were going to the dance. I said, no, they're not. What are you talking about? Number 1's out. Eastern, number 2. So it doesn't matter. This Big Sky tournament, it's a bizarre conference. It's overcoached. All the coaches know each other. They tee each other up. I mean, Iowa State wears Beat Weber shirts. With this whole preseason, this fact that you have a preseason freaking all-conference player is insane. Who the fuck does that? Just put a target on their back? Preseason. This team was penciled in as a 12 seed in the NCAA tournament by every swinging there was. It don't matter about talent. You got to play. I mean, this team, this is my favorite team ever. My favorite group of players ever. And that's saying a lot because I loved Eddie Gill and Harold Arsenault and that crew and Jensen. Same with 95. I was really close friends with Ruben Nemhart and Jimmy DeGrafferty. Love those guys. This was my favorite group of players. Kohler, two, and Dillon all been together. Great. Look, Dillon Jones is the greatest player in the history of this school. Well, at least in this building. You know, we could debate Sojourner. You know, I know that nobody had ever passed Jerry Carding. You know, granted, Lillard lost the championship game when I did it at the season. He died this year, Anthony Johnson. By the way, Montana's still in. But let's remember, and I know Moody's dad. We didn't have quite the conversation. I like this Moody kid a lot, but he's 27 years old. He's 27. It's like Eric is so disconnected here. He's talking about old players at BYU. I'm like, Eric, the oldest player in the country is in your conference. Moody had a huge game. He's 27 years old. So the whole COVID thing. So Dillon lost all 3 times to Montana State. All 3. Well, what about the 4th? COVID. They didn't have one. Remember? They got canceled. Jerry Carding. Jerry Carding should have been in the NBA. Oh, some guy there. Oh, the last time we were saying that, Jerry Carding too short. Just repeating this freaking bullshit narrative. Jerry Carding turned down 2 contracts in the NBA. Go ask the Dallas Mavericks. He was the summer player of the year. You see what he does in Europe? A guard shooting 62%. He's making tons of freaking money. I talked to him before. I said, don't do what Jeremy Sieglin and Joe Bollenboy did and go into the supplement NBA draft and they just use you up, put you in the G League and waste a year or 2 of your life. They offer you the good contract in Europe. Take it. You'll make plenty of money and you'll play. So Jerry Carding never played a tournament. Damian Lillard never played in a tournament. Freaking Dillon Jones never played in a tournament. You know, Dave Patton did. They got smoked, blown out 2006. Dave Patton was a great player against Ben Howland, the old Weber State coach. So Randy Ray had no interest in winning in March. He was ready to go on. I said when he left here, I told everybody, you'll never see him again. He was here for the money. He's out. He didn't want to win in March. He was the worst March coach in history. I mean, him got into a huge argument and fight over Xavier. And when they were giving him the contract over there at the union, he's like, well, you know, Kevin, when you worked for Coach Blake and when you were part of this, you know, because I'm the guy that used to keep players in class, you know, whatever, the student professor, all this historic work I've done for free for years. KWCR. We don't get players like that, like you used to get there. What the fuck are you talking about? You don't get players. You mean like Damian Lillard? Are you out of your fucking mind? We've had more talent on this floor in the last fucking 10, 15 years in the history of this school by a million fucking times. And they can't win. Jeremy Sieglin played in the NCAA tournament. So did Joe Bollenboy. Gets Arizona going as a 16 or 50 seed. You beat. We're not ready. Should have won that game. How about Xavier? How the fuck they lose to Xavier? We're not ready. Randy Ray, these guys don't know how to fucking coach. It's about game time decisions. You have to be, these are analytical nuts. They're computer guys. And they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And so Weber State, which is bigger disappointment? The football season this year, let's see. They were top 10 in the country in football. I think they were 8 in most polls. They ended up almost last in the conference. They didn't go to the fucking tournament. Yeah, there's a football tournament at this level of football. 4 or 5. When you bench All-Americans, yeah, you don't think they benched Abraham Williams. Why is he not playing quarterback? He played quarterback at West High. He's the fat. I mean, everybody, go talk to any of the old players over there. I've talked to several of them. I says, you really think he's faster than Rashid Shaheed? Yes. That's coming from guys that have played with him both. Lots of guys have played with him both. If you're faster than Rashid Shaheed, I mean, well, we saw it when he ran indoor track. I mean, he was on the bench. What do you think all these guys left? When Jay Hill left, it was back to Jody Sears. Well, the same players are still here running the athletic department that were here then when they got the death penalty. You know, there was more to when a Bagelin got fired here. The NCAA was on him on this, that, the other thing. But they didn't hire Guy Beach. And so Arsenault and Gill had the great game. Season of 99. Why didn't they in 2000? I just told you why. They didn't go anywhere the next year because they were pissed. Joe Craven's got it. Well, Joe Craven's inherited Ronald Bagelin's great recruit. Jeremy Boyette, the #1 recruiter in the country. And Pat Dantley. They went undefeated 2002, 3 years. Yeah, you heard me. Undefeated in the Big Sky. You know, they got beaten. That wasn't the team or the coaching part, you know. Wisconsin just, I mean, that kid got hot, but Bagelin won that game? I don't know. Yeah. Dick Motto win that game? Yeah. Phil Johnson? Oh, fuck yeah. Phil Johnson, 68, 69, they went to the fucking Sweet 16. You know, so This is the longest this team's ever gone without going to the dance in the history of the school. Most talent. This team's got more talent than any team in the history of the school. I think it has more talent than even Siglin and Ballenboy. You know, Scotty Bamford. You know, Jerry Carter. Jerry Carter teams were horrid. How? I don't know. With him? Because they won't cut him loose. Jerry Carter could have put up 50 anytime he wanted. So could have Dillon Jones. Dillon Jones could have shattered every record there ever was. Well, he did anyway. Dillon Jones, it was worth the pay of admission to watch him. His season wasn't no disappointment. When Gordon Monson, who is so pathetic, it's unbelievable. I remember Gordon Monson and David Locke talking about Weber State when they drew Michigan State, the tournament go back in 95. Sent to the Wolves, he said. I said to the Wolves, they will win. I knew they would win in 99. I knew how good they were. I knew how good they were in 95. I knew how good they were this year, but I watched them early in the year just implode. They go on these incredible dry spells where they just cannot score, and the coaching staff cannot adjust. All you got to do when you get onto that freaking thing is say, okay, Dillon. Bagelin used to circle when they'd get into a funk like that with the great Jimmy DeGraffi, which he never got in funk. They would move the point guard to the post. You say, okay, go to work, and he was unstoppable. They could have done that with Dillon anytime they wanted. They don't. They didn't. They come out of halftime of this game, and Dillon Jones to the rack, and won 2 in a row. They're up by 13. I mean, this is it. Then they go right back to a fucking ice-cold perimeter shooting team. And they get like that, and they go fucking cold, which they've done all season. They go 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes without scoring. Teams get fucking feeling it when that's exactly what happened. It's happened to them all fucking year. The coaches are too fucking stupid to get dynamic and say, okay, timeout, push the perimeter defense, no threes. If they're going to beat us, they're going to beat us with twos. Give the ball to Dillon. Dillon, I don't care if you're triple team. Do your fucking thing. You know, we're ice cold from the fucking arc. You know, we can't go 5, 6 minutes without scoring. Put him on the post. Let him get fouled and go to the fucking line. He'll be a superstar in the NBA. And I've always said this. Lillard's heartbreaking losses here. And Anthony Johnson died this year. So I dedicated the season to him. Remember, Weber State blew Montana and Montana State out here by 20-some points. Everybody thought it was all going on here. They could meet each other in the championship game. They're both still playing. You know, unless Sac State beats, which they very well could. You know, Idaho State. Remember the Idaho State kid. These guys didn't want him. Yeah, he's from Preston. He wanted to play here. Parker? Oh, he's something else. Ask Dillon. He'll tell you. Dillon Jones is something else. Dillon Jones will be... I've always thought what's made Damian Lillard the mega superstar in the NBA that he's evolved into, the scoring machine, was the losses here. I'm sure it burns him. I'm sure he's never forgot any of it. Every time they play the Jazz, he lights them up. That's why, because the Jazz laughed at him. I think the same thing's going to happen with Dillon Jones. These losses are probably the best thing that ever happened to Dillon Jones when it comes to the NBA. He'll never forget these 3 losses to Montana State. Last year was in a double overtime freaking rock throwing contest. Not this year. I never seen. They just lit. They scored 66 points in the second half. But when you just continue to let them shoot out there on the arc, you see them. They're going boom, boom, boom. At one time, they were, I think, 11 for 14 or 12 for 15. I mean, I think they scored 22 or 23 threes. And you don't push the arc. They don't have an arc defense. You can see that. This guy is Randy Ray prototype. Been here for decades. They ruined Weber State basketball. The Randy Rayisms freaking ruined Randy. I mean, if you don't think that's true, you don't know shit. Look at the crowds. There's nobody here anymore. Gordon Monson writes an article after the fact. Guys calling me that haven't watched fucking Dillon Jones play one time. I've been to every game. And now when they got on the bandwagon, I'm like, no. You don't know what I know. Oh, they're shooing for the turn. No, they're not. No, they're not. We've watched it all year. Sac State beat them. Freaking Portland State beat them. You know, when they lost that game down at UVU, where the same thing, they just go ice fucking cold, and these coaches are too stupid to fucking pivot. Dillon Jones, I've still got him at number 5. So, gonna enjoy my favorite players, my favorite team, yeah, ever, as far as the players. The most talent they ever had here? Yeah, I think so. The biggest disappointment in history, besides the football team this year, Remember the football team? They won one fucking home game to beat Idaho. Wait till Idaho fucking lights them up. Abraham Williams will probably score 4 touchdowns against them. What they did to him is so wrong. When Jay Hill left. So, how come we don't have a Weber State guy coaching? What's the fascination with the fucking Midwest here? When we had all these great locals who we got Hall of Fame legends here. Dick Motta, Phil Johnson, Ron Bateman, Neil McCarthy. These are fucking legends. To this, for a fucking quarter century. Again, I will quote the great, and these players are all that. They have the best fucking players. These players, mark my words, watch these players. These guys go professional. Watch them all. Freak will play in the NBA. Dillon Jones will be a mega superstar in the NBA. No fucking doubt in my mind. KJ and Steven, they'll light it up in Europe. Well, Steven's got a big advantage. He speaks multiple languages, and people love him. He'll be a professional, but if they want to be, you know, all these guys. Watch these guys. It was Zaire Porter's perfect example. Never played. They had him on the bench all the time. He scored, what, 53 in a game over there? Europe. They'll tear it up, but they can't win. And recruiting? That building recruits. They bring these recruits here, and they show them the building. Then they go over on the campus, and they're like, whoa, this is the most beautiful campus you've ever fucking seen. And this beautiful South out right here, it's so beautiful. It's incredible. They're like, whoa. Look at this beautiful play. Now, who played here? Oh, Damian Lillard played here? Oh, I'm in. I mean, it's an easy recruit. Real easy recruit. They get players. They don't got coaches. I mean, how do you hire a high school coach to replace the legendary Jay Hill program when you have 5 assistants and everything? You don't form off one of those, including locals. 5 players in the NFL off the same fucking team. Ask for Shaheed. So, by the way, go Adam Rodriguez, USFL record holder. He's another great you never heard of. Probably the best defensive player in the history of this school. Who? Adam Rodriguez. Best basketball player in the history of this school? Well, at least in the history of this building. He's been here since 1977. Dillon Jones. He passed Jerry Carty and the great Damian Lillard. And Harold Arson on the show. And Eddie Gill. And Dave Patton. All these greats that Scotty Bamforth. Jeremy Sieglin, Joe Bollenboy. It's Dillon Jones, and they can't win. What's the definition of insanity? We all know that, right? They didn't even have a committee, which is against our charter and against our rules. It's a clown circus around here at the athletic department. Graybill's still here? Yep. You gotta be kidding. Yeah, he does a play-by-play with poor Klauke. I remember when he would punt regularly on 3rd down. He's the athletic director. Well, the assistant. I thought they had to clear house. I thought that was the NCAA decision. When they got the death penalty, Jay Hill turned it around. Well, Jay Hill couldn't do it no more. He had a gut full of this freaking culture. It's a culture. Now it's ground in. It's ground in. I mean, 25 years of losing in March, automatic. They don't go to the return. And if they do, they get blown out. They're not ready. Well, they don't go. This is the longest dry spell of a Weber State basketball team not going to the big dance in history with the greatest player in history. You think there's a problem here with coaches? They're pitiful. Stay tuned in.